Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Aesthetic Edge, the podcast where we go behind the scenes with med spa owners, founders, operators, and aesthetic professionals. I am your host, Bethany Gifford, and today I am joined by a guest whose experience spans all over operations, business development, and tech, all in service of scaling high-performing aesthetic practices. But first, a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by New Era Intel. At New Era Intel, we help medical spas, dermatology clinics, and plastic surgery practices who are struggling with inconsistent patient retention, underutilized CRM systems, and manual systems that hold back your clinic's growth potential so they can finally increase quality repeat bookings, streamline operations with AI automation, and grow predictable monthly revenue with the right systems and strategy. They're able to create a premium, seamless patient experience while freeing up their team to focus on what they do best. If you would like to take your business to the next level, head over to neweraintel.com to get started.
Abdul Khattab is the Director of Operations at Sanctuary Cosmetic Center in McLean, Virginia, a thriving aesthetic and surgical practice led by Dr. Soheila Rostami, who you guys might have seen on an earlier episode. With over 20 years of hands-on experience across aesthetic operations, Abdul is one of those rare leaders who's just as fluent in IT systems and team workshop as he is in patient experience and practice growth. Abdul, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you for inviting me, Bethany. I appreciate it.
Well, let's start with a little bit of context. Go ahead and share a little bit about your role at the center and how it fits into the broader practice of the ecosystem there.
Yeah, absolutely. As a practice manager or operational director for a group of practices and a surgery center, it means wearing all the hats. Basically, you have all the hats except the clinical side, basically. So you have your marketing, the budgeting, your compliance, your inventory forecasting, your IT stack systems, and the favorite part, managing people, you know. So it's basically you do a little bit of everything and you hope for the best.
I mean, I imagine no 2 days are exactly the same. So what does like a typical day look for you in the office?
Oh, it's chaos every day. Basically, we try, like every other business, you try to handle like the emergencies in the first hour or two, and then you go out about your day and you check what needed to be handled first. Usually every day there are a couple meetings, whether internally or externally with vendors or like office managers of our practices or the surgical center. And then we check, I basically go over social media, check if everything is going according to plan. And then you have the daily KPI check for everything from like scheduling to revenue to your marketing spend, etc. And that's it. That's your 8 to 10 hours a day, basically.
Woo, that is a full day. You definitely wear a lot of hats for sure. I mean, you're managing not one, but two practices, right? And a surgical center.
Correct. Yeah.
What's been the key to keeping it all the moving parts aligned?
Basically, the most important part is making sure that you have a good culture in the practice. We don't try to micromanage anyone. And when we try to hire, we really try to hire the right person for the right spot. We even do something like many other tech companies. When we want to hire someone, we do our initial interview. And if we feel that this person is a fit, we actually invite them to do a work interview. Basically, the work interview, you come in and you experience the practice a day or two from open to close in full operation. And you are going to do the job that you are hired for, but it gives you an option or it gives you an opportunity to try it for yourself. Do I mesh with these people? Is this something that I want to do? Is this something that I see myself doing long term? It also gives the practice and the other people in the practice an opportunity to see that person. If it's a good fit, we do give them like an official offer and bring them in. And I believe this has been like very, very good. We started implementing that in 2021, like right before COVID hit. And it's been great. We have very, very low turnover rates with employees. And once you have like good culture, everything else is easier because I'm sure you know, like any other industry, I think the biggest problem or the biggest challenge in any industry is making sure that your talent is the right talent and they want to work and they want to do or treat this as their own business.
Absolutely.
We're far from perfection, but I think we are very, very close to that.
That's a great approach. I mean, looking back on, I worked in Derm for 10 years, all the way from front desk to, medical side, cosmetic side, managing side. And I believe that would have erased a lot of the issues that we were having as far as turnover and, competency. Can you actually do the job that we're going to hire you for? I think that's brilliant. I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like, are they willing to train? Are they like how are they on a personal level as well? Like, the aesthetic industry, it's a very, very hard industry. You see all kinds of patients, and some of them are going to be challenging. And like any other business, like the closest I think is retail,
Mm.
because if someone works in retail and they are customer facing, they see anywhere probably from 5 to 10,000 people a year. And it's the same in our industry. So, like, you need to build this resiliency, but you can't instill it if someone doesn't already have it. We can give you guidance, we can give you scripts, we can show you how to handle specific situations, but it should become like like a second nature to you.
Absolutely.
If you can't do that, this industry isn't for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot of, you're right, personalities. I mean, you just have to
Yeah.
have the right competency for it and, the skills, the knowledge, and the personality because they can clash. I know about that one. I managed 44 women at one time at the practice that I was in, and it's all about personalities.
My team is about 25, and there is just me and another male surgeon, and the rest is all women as well.
Bless you. That has to be fun. Fun. I love it.
Yeah. I just want to add one more thing, if that's okay. Um, like the other side of this, demanding the best from your employees, you also need to be able to provide them with the best steps forward.
Hmm.
Like our one of my office managers, she started as a medical assistant. She's been with us for 10 years. So she worked as a medical assistant. She then moved on to do surgical assisting. She got certified in that. And then she did a cosmetic consultant. She improved on that. So she's very, very well-rounded. And she's been like one of our practice managers for over 4 years now.
Wow.
Many of our cosmetic consultants have came in as front desk staff and they transitioned into their new positions. If you are demanding loyalty and you want to have people to stay with you long term, the best thing is to promote from within.
100%.
And why not pay someone more if they are doing you great things? They know your culture, they know your systems, they know your physicians and how everyone works, and they know all the size of your practice. That's the person that you want to keep as long as possible. And
Uh,
that's the only formula that works. Like when
Absolutely.
we hire, we always hire front desk or entry level medical assistant, and we grow from within. Everyone in both practices and the surgical center who is holding like a mid-level or high level in the practice has been promoted from within in the past 5 years.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've seen both ways, growing from within, and then I've seen people hire other people out. And it's just so hard to train them because they don't know the systems. Like you said, they don't know the culture, they don't
Absolutely.
know the beginning to the end. And that's really important. So absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely, 100%.
What major shifts are you seeing right now in the industry that practice leaders need to pay attention to?
Um, I think there's a huge shift into wellness right now.
Mhm.
Like we're seeing it getting bigger and bigger. Like since late 2022, when we started seeing more and more people are getting on weight loss, when it was very, very expensive, and the compounded pharmacy started making that easier and easier for patients. Um, there was like positive and negative effects on our industry as a whole because you started to see that all the devices and all the ways for treatments to like freeze fat or to tighten skin, they don't work anymore for extreme weight loss. And now, because of everything that's happening, the economic situation, and because of like people basically are tired of a not so perfect healthcare system. They are taking matters into their own hands. And there are plenty of influencers, like wellness influencers, who really, really are capitalizing on this. And this, I started to see the transition to physicians and med spas and plastic surgeons talking about wellness um, for many reasons. I think one of the reasons is, of course, this is a very important topic to talk about, and people need to take care of their insides the same way they take care of their outside appearance. They need
Absolutely.
to be healthy in order for them to look good. Also, in the past couple of years, the industry was on a little bit of a downturn or like not so certain space because again, people are spending money on weight loss medications. They are making that a priority over getting injectables or getting surgeries or getting other stuff. So the providers or these practices need to find other ways to make money. And you're seeing more and more of these practices, plastic surgeons and med spas. They're offering peptides, they are offering like nutrition coaching in addition to their weight loss prescriptions. And they are telling people that you need to get your protein intake correctly. You need to be working and exercising because if you are just losing weight, you're losing muscle mass as well as fat. So this is the change that I think, in my opinion, is going to last for a few years now. It's the new hot thing in our industry.
Absolutely. Yep.
And it also is the gateway for people to get like aesthetically improving treatments, as well as they are getting their holistic or wellness goals met.
Yeah, we're seeing it all across the board. I mean, I don't know that
Absolutely.
we've met a med spa or a medical center that isn't wanting to at least implement that at some point, if not already. So I definitely agree.
Absolutely. Because again, like it's the trendy thing right now. And there are huge, mega wellness and health influencers all over YouTube and social media that are actually making a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with this rising patient expectation, and increasing competition, has that shaped like your growth strategy at all?
So our strategy in general was always two things. Basically, you work on patient retention and you work on educating your new clients. So when your patients are staying with you, you want to maximize that. And the way to do that is to stay on your messaging. You educate them, you give them all the options that are available. Like one of our strength points, I think, is that our leader, Dr. Soheila Rostami, she's been doing this for 25 years. She's double board certified. She is one of the first people in the country to actually work and experiment with injectables.
Wow.
She
Yeah.
is she was a trainer for most of these companies. She was a national trainer, and she used to train other physicians and providers on how to actually do these injectables safe. So she has this tool under her belt that she can utilize for the right patient and the right candidate. She also have this surgical option If someone is a candidate for surgery, she tells them the best outcome is going to come from surgery. For instance, if someone comes in and they have like a lot of sagging skin and they come for injectables and they say, I heard that if I get 5 or 6 cc's of HA or Sculptra or Radius, it's going to help. And she tells them, no, this doesn't lift. This is a great tool, but you are not the candidate for it. So when you're honest and when you have all the tools to address any issue within your specialty, it makes it really your strength point, and you will retain your patients because they trust your judgment. They know that, yes, you are a business, but at the same time, you're basically her reputation or our practice reputation is the faces of our patients.
Absolutely. I absolutely love
Once they
that too.
understand that,
Y-
yes,
You
once
guys
they
definitely
understand
stand out in
that,
the crowd for
they
that,
know.
for sure.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. So that's for the established patient. This way you maximize your lifetime value for your patients. We have patients that have been with us for over 15 and 16 years. We have patients that already got their second facelift with us.
Wow.
Like we're talking 18, 19 years, and they still come, you know? Um, for new patients, we work very, very hard on education. Like we like it to keep it fat-free. We give them everything that they need to know. We do not push for same day or even same week decisions. If you're coming for surgery, this is a major life event for you. We do it like hundreds of times a year, but you do it maybe once or twice in a lifetime if you need it. So you need to have all the information that you need. We tell patients in our initial consultations, you are not allowed to make a decision today. You are going to go home, you're going to sleep on it and think about it because you just spent 45 minutes with the surgeon and then spent another 30 to 45 minutes with the patient consultant. It is impossible for you to absorb all the information that was given to you. You need time to think about it, and your homework is to come up with more questions and let us know
I love that.
what your questions are.
That's an
We
incredible
work with
approach.
them on their timeline. Yes, I mean, that's the only right approach to do this.
Agreed.
Because we don't want to do a lot, and we don't tend to like we try to book 3 or 4 months out because we want to make sure that you had all the information that you need, all your questions answered. We want to fit this procedure at the best time during the year for you, not for us.
Mm.
Because we want you to be happy with your results. We want you to remove like any doubts. Because going into surgery with a positive attitude 100% improves the result.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's a big
Yeah,
life decision. You know, they do need time
absolutely.
to think about
Yeah,
it.
and
And
like we become desensitized to it because like we live in the industry, we do this every day. But it's still like a major life decision. Even getting injectables or a patient coming to get Botox for the first time, you know, it takes a lot of hand holding. It's not about the treatment itself. It's about preparing them and taking out all the fear that they have to make it a pleasant experience for them. Like we promise you safety, we promise you compassion, and the last one is the high quality service or care that you're going to get. But we want you to be comfortable going to do this, you know? And that's what separates like um, good providers. We are not in the business of seeing 30 patients a day,
mm,
even if it's out of pocket, even if it's for injectables, because the goal from a business perspective, I want you to come to me every time you want to get any procedure done. That means I need to be honest with you and spend decent amount of time with you, walking you through the options that you want and ask for. And that's how you maximize on it. Like you just be honest with them and be available for them, and they will be available for you forever.
Absolutely. It really boils down to the education part. And I remember talking to Dr. Rostami about that, and now you guys are really hitting that on the head. You need to educate them, because a lot of people come in and they know what they want because they saw it on Instagram or their next door neighbor got it, and it might not be the right thing for them. And I think that's amazing. That's a
Absolutely.
huge
Absolutely.
integrity.
And also
Love
like
that.
plays a, social media plays a huge part in that. Like it's the trendy thing. What's trendy right
Yep.
now? And like people don't know. They think this is a one treatment that fits all, when in reality it doesn't, you know? And that's why we're focusing more and more on education. And we try to like even we put out YouTubes, we try to put a YouTube every Monday, whether it's a short or some sort of a long form. We try to keep it under 15 minutes. And the goal is to make sure, like, to give patients what it's like to get treatments done, when it's the right time to start a specific treatment. What's the difference between, like, for instance, an upper eyelid surgery where you just take care of the excess skin, or if you actually need to have muscle correction?
Hmm.
Like we get a lot of calls of people who are calling and asking about eyelid surgery. We want to have our excess skin removed. But it's way more complicated than that. But because some people have, sometimes people have issues where the muscle loses elasticity. So it's like an old spring, basically. And she needs to go and do correction to that. The muscle needs to be shortened. There's nothing wrong with your eyelids. Or sometimes you have your forehead drooping. It's not your eyelid. If we do a right forehead lift for you, it's going to take care of that appearance for you. Same thing for lip filler, for injectables, or if someone have hollowness under the eyes, they say, I want to have under eye filler. Where in reality, they don't need under eye filler. It's their cheeks, the center of their cheeks that's falling down. And that's what needs to be suspended and pushed up a little bit. So education is important. And there are a lot of providers who are actually doing education properly. And we're trying to be one of those people.
Definitely. Well, definitely makes you stand out. And I'm sure you'll be a great example for those, that are just starting out or wanting to tweak their business as well, because, you guys are doing it the right way. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Let's shift gears a little bit to the kind of the operational, behind the scenes. Are there any tools or systems approach, that you've made that's kind of made like a meaningful impact on the operational side, more technical?
So basically, we have been trying to track all important metrics, like metrics that actually make a difference, not metrics that are being tracked just for the sake of tracking. Um, we have been actively tracking all of our metrics since 2018, and we know our growth or deficiency in every category related to basically finances or patient acquisition or conversions or marketing since then. Um, we built this tool in-house actually, and we just use it in-house for that. Um, you have the main ones basically. You track your revenue, you track your lead to consult, and then your consult to procedure or treatment, basically. We track patient retention. We track booking percentage per provider. Um, and we also track the improvement of or the growth per treatment.
Hmm.
We do it month over month, quarter over quarter, half over half, year over year for that. And using these KPIs that we track, we decide where we are going to tweak our marketing spend.
Yeah.
Like this has been sensational for us because it's enabled us to spend money more wisely and get a better ROI over time.
Absolutely. Gosh, when you know the details and that many details. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's very, very important because again, like if you're allowing yourself to get the reporting correct, you're gonna suffer creating the systems. But
Mhm.
once it's in place, it's very easy to do it month over month. And it pays off. Like this takes me probably, I would say about 3 hours a month to get all the information done. But it saves us like tens of thousands of dollars a year. And it also helps us reduce the guessing game. Like you worked in the industry and you know that up until today, I think the worst nightmare or the most challenging part for med spas and plastic surgery practices is that no one really understands what your social media or marketing team, whether it's a third party or a person in house, is delivering.
Mm,
You don't know that. And when you track those KPIs, you know, like for instance, I know what how many leads we're getting from Google Ads versus Google Organic. How many leads are coming from Instagram? Because we force the rule, no new patient can book an appointment if we don't know the exact referral source for them.
very important.
One step to this, you can run this report at any moment of any day, of any month, of any year, and you will get your numbers. And this enables you. What's working? Are Google Ads working well? That's wonderful. Then we increase the spend on that to gain more market share. Are social media ads not working, like Instagram ads, for instance, for injectables are not working? Then we need to switch those funds to do more work in areas that they are performing better.
Absolutely.
And once we hit peaks in each category that, like, let's say that we have maxed out on the potential of, let's say, lip fill, then we don't dedicate more money to that. We switch to improve something else. When your top 5 or 6 campaigns are working perfectly, this allows you to experiment with other less performing ones. But you need to make sure that you are paying the bills, that you have your ROI done correctly, and there is some profit before being able to experiment with stuff that's not really promising yet. And like I think that's the way to do it. And that goes back even to the practitioners. Like again, I'm not a medical provider in any way, but if I can give an advice to anyone who's just entering or someone who's new, my biggest recommendation for them is that master one thing at a time before offering everything. Because once you master like a specific treatment, you will be known for it and it will become a second nature to you. You're going to do it and then you'll be able to improve something else. But you can't have all the experience all at once.
That's great advice. I was just about to ask you what kind of advice you would give someone, and you nailed that for sure. Dr. Rostami is so fortunate to have you, that you're able to do all the marketing and KPIs and all the tech work behind the scenes, because we've seen a lot of med spa owners and practitioners themselves trying to take on everything that you've mentioned and be the best at injecting or the best at surgery and everything like that. And it's too much, and we've worked with a lot of people that were like, focus on what you're good at, focus on what you're known for and leave the technical stuff to someone like you, who can do it with their eyes closed. So I love that. I
Yeah,
love that.
absolutely. Well, again, like thank you so much. But I think when they try to do everything at the same time, like they think they are going to be bringing in more money or more business in
Mm,
general, but the fact is that it's distracting them from reaching their full potential in one thing before moving on to the other.
agreed.
And like that again applies for everything, you know? We can't handle like humans aren't multitaskers by nature. We need to master skills to be able to do it on autopilot. And that also transfers to like the aesthetics.
Mhm.
Once you reach a point where you have seen every demographic, you have treated every like age group for a specific treatment, you have this internal knowledge base that can't be beat. That's when you know it's time to move on to the next thing,
Mm.
to build on that. And it's unfortunate, like again, I don't like this is a little bit unrelated, but in the past probably 3 years, we have dealt, we see a lot of complications
Mm.
from like smaller and newer med spas. This is not to say anything bad about them. We're not trying to do that. There are a lot of them that are amazing and they are doing their job correctly. But newer med spas, sometimes they try to do a lot of things at the same time, or newer injectors, not to generalize, and they end up having really like big adverse events,
Scary.
you know? And it's hard. And I think again, like the industry is shifting, the companies and the vendors that are creating these injectables or treatments in general, they need to reach a wider audience to sell their products, which makes sense, you know? But like up until today, there isn't an actual certified training that you can call the training. Like even the ones that are grandfathered by the companies, by the vendors, they last 2 days at most.
Mm.
You can't learn facial anatomy in 2 days. You can't learn how to deal with adverse events. You can't have real experience. Like if you want to call yourself an injector, you have to inject 200 people at least in a very short period of time. So you get experienced. You know what to
Absolutely.
expect and how to handle an adverse event when it happens, you know? Um, Hopefully it's gonna improve soon. That's what we're hoping for.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we collaborate with a few people that actually place injectors into people's practices that have been thoroughly trained. You know, it's just like a doctor. You know, they have to do residencies, they have to do fellowships. You know, they have to practice before they
Absolutely.
can go off and run their own show on their own. So I think it's very similar. I mean, you're in people's faces, and muscles and things like
Yeah.
that, and nerves, and yeah, I think it's really important. So where would you see Sanctuary going in the next 6 to 12 months? Do you guys have some big goals?
We have big goals and we actually have plans. Like we're adding a couple more surgeons soon. And we're hoping that we are going to continue on our like expansion trajectory. Um, that's all I can say for now.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to keep tuning in to see what that expansion looks like for you. So, well, Abdul, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for joining us and sharing your perspective.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. And like your podcast, I have no doubt it's going to be a great outlet and source of information for like industry peers.
Absolutely. It's so refreshing to hear from somebody who has, been in all the trenches and solving real world problems every single day, kind of behind the scenes. You know, a lot of people don't understand what it takes to run a successful practice, and you are definitely one of those. So we really, really appreciate you. And can you tell the audience how we can learn a little bit more about Sanctuary Cosmetic Center?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are everywhere on all social media, on YouTube at sanctuarycosmeticcenter.com. And if you're interested in following Dr. Soheila Rostami, her hashtag is, or I'm sorry, her tag is at beauty by Dr. Rostami. She's also available all over social media and on YouTube as well. And our website is sanctuarycosmeticcenter.com. And thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you and to your audiences.
The pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much, Abdul. We really appreciate you.
Thank
And
you.
everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.